Oh, somebody else was the host. All
All
right.
right, I am showing recording on my end.
Thanks everybody for joining us today. If you can't hear, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to, ask in chat or just, let us know if you need anything. So today we're going to be doing admin training number 1 for DC Octo. And we're super excited to be here. And I will introduce our speakers in a minute. Alrighty, our agenda for today is we're going to meet the Granicus team. We'll just say hi real quick and let you know who's going to be talking at you for an hour. We're going to look into govDelivery. We're going to look into our governance guide, what the purpose is, what the overview is, what topics are in there, how you can access it, and any help you may need. And then we will, at the end, talk about upcoming trainings. Okay, first of all, we'll introduce the team. I am Tammy Hollingsworth, and I'm project manager for DC Octo. And I've been with Granicus about a year now and been in project management for many years. And I am super excited to be on this project. Mike and Liz are great to work with, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the training sessions. Erica?
Thanks, Tammy. Hey, everybody. Thank you for spending an hour of your day with us today. We have a lot of really great content for you, so I'm excited to share everything with you. I'm a digital marketing program manager at Granicus in the experience group. I work tightly with Tammy and Jared and Janice to make sure that everything is going according to plan and everything's configured correctly. So happy to share anything I can on the call today. Feel free to ask questions. Jared, do you want to go next?
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Jared Kronitz. I'm a senior customer success consultant here at Granicus. I've been here for 3 years. My role is to help with overall best practices of govDelivery and any recommendations. I am based here in DC, right in DuPont Circle, so right close by, and I'm looking forward to working with each of you. And I'll let Janice finish this off.
Thanks, Jared. Hi, I'm Janice. I've been working at Granicus for about 2 years now, and I'm a digital strategy specialist. And like Erica, I'm really excited to really share a lot of best practices with each and every one of you. So.
Thanks, Janice. All righty. So we are going to, Janice is going to start us off, and we're get right into welcome to govDelivery. So Janice, I will turn it over to you.
Great, thanks, Tammy.
Sure.
So welcome govDelivery administrators. Whether you're a topic or a group administrator, this training really is for you. You learn a lot about how to use the governance guide for your email communications, as well as govDelivery's best practices. So Tammy, you can go to the next slide. Thanks. As an administrator, you are part of the district's account that sends emails and text messages through the email communications platform govDelivery. Currently, the district has over 2.3 million email and text message subscribers and sends over 33 million messages per year. So this is just to give you a picture of how many agencies are actually within the account. Some of the agencies that you may be a part of or are not part of, but they include like the Department of Public Works, the Department of Parks and Recreation. There's also the DC FEMS, Fire and Emergency Medical Services, which is actually the example they see on the right-hand side. It's one of their many emails that they're sending out to promote their Right Care Right Now program. So, just by saying all of this and think about how many agencies are within the account and are sending their own emails, we're looking at a large scale of communication. And if you think about it, like when everyone sends an email, especially in their own style, you begin to lose the branding power of the emails. And so that's a perfect segue into talk about the governance guide. But first, thank you, Tammy. We're first going to talk about like what is governance in general. So typically governance refers to the set of rules, controls, processes, and mechanisms that are put into place to dictate behavior. Now, you might be thinking like, what does that have to do with email communications and like, why is it important? Well, we've listed 3 main reasons that you see in the slide, but first, we'll talk about how it ensures continuity across district communications. So when you're sending emails, you can use like different tones and languages for different audiences. And when you have like a consistent tone throughout the email, that really clarifies, conveys meaning of what you're saying and what you want your audience to do. And then when you think about appearance, like having that consistent brand would actually improve your image with your audience. And so this means that when a subscriber receives an email from you, you immediately know where it come from. And I'll just give you a quick example. So let's say that you were trying to send an email to promote your exhibit at the annual NBC Health Expo, which is held at usually at the Walter E. Convention Center every year. And for your message, you want to use probably like a positive tone because you want to generate excitement at this event. And you really want your attendees to come visit your booth, really learn about your initiatives and your program. And then if you think about the appearance, you're probably going to add your like logo right at the top of the email. Now, let's say on the flip side, you sent this email like a month in advance of the Health Expo, and then you want to send a reminder email like 2 days before. So you might change the tone of your email to make it slightly more urgent because you really want to promote the attendance and increase people to come to your event or to your booth at the Health Expo. So the second example of governance, the importance of governance, is safeguarding high quality communications. When you're sending out emails, you want to check for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And using the proper grammar will actually help build your credibility and reputation as a professional, trustworthy agency, making your communications more, and it'll also help with making your communications more effective. Typically, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see like grammatical errors within emails, it actually distracts me more. Especially with all like the COVID emails that you may have been receiving throughout this entire pandemic. It's either like COVID-19 or it's coronavirus. Sometimes it's both. And so it always like confuses me, like, oh, which one should it be, coronavirus or COVID-19? But I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really want to distract your audience's mind. You really want them to get them to take some form of action. But yeah, so then the third purpose of governance would be to reduce workload. Our example is to use like templates, because like when you are sending out emails, you really want to use templates just to like save time. It also helps with building brand identity and improving your brand image. It can also make your day-to-day activities more efficient, mainly because you don't need to spend time like constantly reformatting emails from scratch and sending out numerous test emails just to make sure the formatting comes out correctly. But if you like create a template, then you don't really have to worry about formatting because you already tested the email, you know that it looks great in like Outlook or Yahoo, Gmail, whichever platform you use, or actually, sorry, govDelivery, yeah. And then that way you can save time in the future. So now that you have an understanding about the importance of governance, we can dive deeper into the governance guide. So I'll let Erica take it away.
Thank you for establishing that foundation on why it's important to do the governance. And as an overview, the governance guide is your deep pool of govDelivery communications information. When you need an answer, dive in to find the reliable guidance that you need. The govDelivery guidance both helps you get started and can help you increase the sophistication of your email or text message communications. So when you're thinking about questions around building an audience, email sign-up experience, composing public-ready emails or texts, growing an existing audience, that's a big one we get a lot, or sending out larger campaigns, this is the time to reference the governance guide. So you can expect to become more comfortable and confident in govDelivery while gaining the best practice knowledge and experience with effective digital comms. So let's dive into some of the key areas within the govDelivery governance guide. As a caveat, since I'll be mentioning it a lot, the governance guide is available on the training and support page at any time. We'll show you exactly where and how you can get your own copy later in this training. So for now, just sit back, relax. We'll walk you through the key areas of the guide together so we know that you got all the highlights. All righty. Go ahead, next slide. Thank you so much. All righty. So managing your audience and your govDelivery account. Building a quality audience for digital outreach is foundational to successful communications. And there's more than one way to do it. So there's 3 closely related topics covered in the governance guide, and they're on building an audience, managing lists, and keeping the account organized. These activities require forethought, strategy, periodic management. So as a part of this training, we'll look very specifically into custom topics and custom categories with processes specific to the district team. All right, thank you. So the first step in here is custom topics. The first thing I'm going to answer is, what is a topic in govDelivery? Topics are individual lists of subscribers who have specifically chosen to receive information about a particular issue. So they've opted in to receive communications, and it's an individual list. That's how we should think about using topics. So just a nuance in language we wanted to highlight. Who manages topics? Who's in charge of this? So group administrators create and manage topics. They also create and manage categories. We'll get to that later. Group administrators also assign topic admins and assign bulletin templates to topics. If you are a group or category administrator, you only see the topics that are assigned to you. How many, well, in the DC account, in the district account, there are 145 categories and 1,100 topics as of today. So there's a lot going on there. In order to keep everything organized, we approach topics and categories strategically, and we've got this process specific to the district. So all new topics must be approved by the district. If you need a new topic, reach out to the account administrators on the web team using the email webteam@dc.gov. You should have a use case for the new content in mind. Make sure you've evaluated the current topic list. And the caveat there is there might be topics in existence that you don't know about if depending on your administration level. So be sure to connect internally and have those conversations there. And then there's a couple of questions when you're thinking about creating a topic, because you might need one. You might need a new one. Do I have a use case? You'll want to get that together. Do you have your message content? Is there an existing topic that meets my needs? What category would my topic live under? And we'll dig into categories in a minute, but before I proceed any farther, because that was a lot of information on the topics, are there any questions at this moment? All right, Tammy's monitoring the chat box, so she'll let me know if somebody gets rowdy in the audience. All right, so onward to custom categories. And here we have another process built out specific for the district. So what's a category? Categories are the groupings of topics that assemble similar lists of information. So an example, this is a real example. The district has a category titled City Services. And so the individual topics underneath city services are summer camps, leaf collection services, DOT alerts, DOT press releases. And so this way you can think of the categories as that larger overarching category, and the topics are the lists that are going underneath those. So the district has approved categories. There are certainly many more that have been created than are on this approved list, but for everyone's awareness, newsletters, city services, grants and funding, licensing and regulation, public safety, health and wellness, education, child and youth services. So when you're looking at what topics do I need a new topic for this outreach that I want to do in the future? Look at these. Does it fall under any of these categories? And don't worry about, will I be able to reach my audience in using this category or topic? Because there's a lot of ways to configure it. The categories really help keep the account organized. So really important that we all collaborate on making sure that the organization stays really clean and everybody's kind of aware and working together on that. So instructions to add a category, and that's a big deal, right? If you're adding a category, there's probably going to be some other people in the conversation, but first you want to get permission from your account administrators on the web team. Same email address, webteam@dc.gov, great email address. To appear on the subscription page, new categories must be cross-listed in one of the approved categories. So the subscription opt-in list that people, users, website users who maybe hit the sign up form see, if you want to be on that list, we need to do some special configuration. So we can certainly do it. Just want everyone to be aware that there's a little extra step to make sure you're getting that. And how this overlays with the topic. Any new topics must be assigned to an approved category to appear on the district subscription page. They show as a sub bullet under the larger category when people are looking at what subscriptions are available to them. So I think we got through a ton of meat there and through some really useful information as far as when you guys are looking to create new audiences. Categories and topics are going to be one of the first places you're thinking of because that's where your subscribers are living. I'm going to hand it over to Janice so that she can talk to you about crafting compelling content, the anatomy of email and text, and leveraging reporting for communication success.
Great, thanks, Erica. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions? All right, so as a lot of people say, silence is golden. So yeah, so I'll be talking about drafting compelling content, which really helps your audience find a solution and compels them to take an action. So the governance guide includes like a lot of best practices about compelling content. And what I mean by that is like, think of like subject lines. That's like the first thing that you see when you're opening an email. And typically you want these subject lines to be catchy and brief. Like, for instance, like take advantage of free resources, and the reader will ultimately know that there's free resources available that may pertain to them and be helpful. And then another example is headlines. So let's say the subject line was very catchy. You open the email and then the first thing you see within the email is a headline. So typically the headlines are nice, big and bolded. They consist of like about 4 to 8 words that really sum up a theme of your message. And another topic that I'm talking about is like learning the anatomy of email and SMS to send effective messages to your audience. So what I mean by that is really like designing engaging emails. So that refers to like consistent branding. So when I was talking about how governance refers to like appearance, can help with appearance. When you're like designing an email, you typically have your logo on the top. And that's just a good way to show your reader, where's this email coming from? And that way they'll ultimately like recognize your brand and will always know it's coming from you. And then another core component of designing engaging emails is a call to action button. So typically when you're sending an email, and within the email, there's usually like a big, large, colorful button, or you want to include that. And that way the subscriber will be really engaged and they'll know that they'll be able to click on that button and go to their destination based off what the email is saying. And then the last governance guide topic is reporting. So reporting really gives you an overview of your message, performance, and audience engagement. And when you create like, when you're starting to like look at the email results, you're probably going to create some sort of report that you want to share with your leadership and really show them how successful your digital communications are. Within the governance guide, it like dives deep into like the bulletin detail report as well as the bulletin analytics report. And it shows you like the differences as well as like a glossary of all the different terms. Like whether you're confused about the unique versus open total clicks, then that really gives you like an overview of what you need to know. So, Timmy, can I actually take the screen away from you for a second so I can actually share the governance guide? All right. Let me share my screen. So we talked just to you about all the different topics. Now I'm going to share like what the actual governance guide looks like and just go over to see like how you can actually go through it. So this is like the first page of when you download the governance guide. And then if we go down, you'll see that there is the second page is the table of contents, and it shows you all the different pages along with the main section. So let's say you're like just new starting out into govDelivery. The first section you probably want to go to is start at page 3, and that's like the getting started. It'll tell you all the key components about govDelivery and all the different terminology that govDelivery uses. But let's say that you're a little bit more expert, you've already had a couple of years of experience with govDelivery, and you want to know a lot about building an audience, kind of like what Erica was saying, how it's a very strategic approach. And so maybe you want to start at page 13. So if we go down a couple pages, this gives you an overview about govDelivery, but there's these really nice buttons on the bottom of the guide, and you can just click on one, like build an audience, and it'll jump straight to the section. So a lot of like what Erica was talking about, the process of like topics, if I go down a little bit, yeah, well anyways, actually that was in the get started page, but I skipped it. But the topics and categories process are within the governance guide. And I kind of just wanted to open it up and just to show you guys some like nice components of it and really just how to navigate the governance guide in general. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and let Tammy reshare the screen so we can go through the rest of the training. All right, thanks, Tammy.
Yep, you can see it okay?
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, so as Erica was saying earlier, like we're going to talk about how to access it, and she mentioned that it was on the training and support page. So when you go onto the page, you'll be able to see something called connect to district data with web services, and you would click on that section, and then you go to the govDelivery user guide, and that would actually redirect you to the screenshot that you see on the right hand side. And once it pops up, you'll be able to click on the attachment where the cursor is, govDelivery governance and user guide, and be able to view and download the gov guide. So now I'm going to hand it off to Jared to talk about govDelivery help.
Thanks, Janice. Yeah, so there's a lot of obviously information that Janice and Erica covered. Where are some additional resources that you can help get some additional help? We do have a support team that works closely with govDelivery that can definitely help with any kind of assistance that you have, especially technical type assistance. Here at the top, you can see a URL for the specific support portal. This is a govDelivery user guide. There is a lot of different information at that URL. Where you can learn more about topics, categories, bulletins, a lot of the other features as well. If you go to that site, it's really helpful, especially for someone that's new or even experienced, to go to that portal and learn more about govDelivery and some of the features and capabilities. So I highly recommend going in there, checking it out, and seeing some of the features that that could be available for you. As I mentioned, we have a support team that's available. So if you're looking to speak to a real person or connect with a real person, we have that support team that's there for any technical assistance. Whether, like I said, designing a new template, you're sending out a bulletin, you need some help with some help with some topics or uploads or anything like that, we have a support team that's available to help with that technical assistance. It is asked, with the governance guide to also CC the web team with their email there on any kind of ticket request that comes in. Also want to mention, myself as a customer success consultant, I'm here as well to help answer kind of any technical needs that you have. As far as getting a hold of the support team, how do you do that? Multiple ways to get a hold of them. A few of them here are email, support@granicus.com, and you can see the phone. You can put in a ticket through the portal link above. There's also a chat functionality as well. So multiple ways to get a hold of them and really connect regarding any kind of technical questions or assistance that you have. And then obviously using your customer success consultant, myself, as a resource as well. And with that, I'll pass it back.
Thanks, Jared.
Mhm.
All right, so okay, so the this slide just really tells us about the upcoming trainings, or as we're calling it, learning opportunities. So mark your calendars, because the next 3 trainings are coming up soon. And there will be and for the next training, we'll be talking about creating, managing, and optimizing bulletins. So kind of like the topics how we talked about today within the governance guide, we highlighted like little bits and pieces of it. But for these trainings, we're going to go into more detail and really give you like more examples and best practices, as well as tips and tricks on really how to create and like manage optimized bulletins. And then for the training on July 29th, also go more in detail about reporting and actual insights and like what does that mean, and really like how to understand your results, and how would you give really great recommendations about your particular email campaign or a message that you're sending out. And then the last training, which will be on September 15th, is all about your email and SMS writing best practices. So we'll go a bit deeper into some of the best practices that we think are great for designing or writing engaging email content. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about like the famous Oxford comma, but that's going too deep into the training. So I think the last slide is, does anyone have any questions?
Since we have a little Q&A time here, Deirdre Coleman mentioned in the chat sharing the list, and I was curious if they were referencing sharing topics or how to access subscribers. So if you want to add a little more detail, we can give you some background information on how topics are managed or topic subscribers are managed.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, I work in the long-term care administration at DHCF. And one of the things that we were interested in using this platform for is we have a lot of frontline providers that we need to communicate with, but that oftentimes are out on the floor. So like a lot of times social workers, discharge planners that are out on the floor in the hospital interacting with patients. And it is almost impossible to get them to come to a meeting and say, hey, this new initiative is rolling out and it's going to impact you. And here is how it works. And so we were thinking for those particular provider types that it's really hard to get them together in a group to communicate one message about something really important that's coming up, that this would be a perfect vehicle for us to maintain communication with those providers, as well as those providers tend to have a lot of turnover. And so we also thought that we spend a lot of time calling the managers and saying, hey, I got 6 bounce backs to my emails. Did your staffing change? And then for them to say, oh yeah, all 6 of those people are gone and we have 6 new people. But if we could train the managers that as you're onboarding someone, have them sign up to get the alerts and everything, then I think that those two things would make us much better communicators as the state Medicaid agency, and also would make us much more efficient. So that's sort of our thoughts, is like, how do we use this to better connect with our provider groups?
Thank you for the additional detail and context on that. I think sometimes it's easier to use a real life situation to talk about, you know, how you use a software that can do a lot of different things. So I could definitely see how digital comms is going to be a good solution for your on the go care providers. We have some options. So whenever you create a topic, let's say you start with a list of people that currently are in working positions. You can create that topic and add it to a category, and then you'll assign the administrator to that topic. So it sounds like that would be your manager position. Certainly evaluate that internally to see if it's a right fit. But this would allow them to communicate with and manage the subscribers of that topic. And they can also modify topic administrators as well. So kind of, if you've got a solid manager, you can delegate that out, and then they can update it as their staffing changes. So that might be a good solution for you there. Jared, did you have any thoughts you wanted to throw in?
Yeah, you know, depending on your type of audience, you know, trying to capture that audience. You know, if you have an internal type audience, you have that ability to just upload and manage your subscriber lists and really manage the people you're looking to reach out to, and keep that up to date. If you have kind of more of an external communications, you can certainly try to have signups for that external type communication where, you know, if it's people that will be kind of outside the floor, as you mentioned, that might be a little bit more for kind of like that public sign up. But you could certainly create, to Erica's point, you could certainly create multiple topics with multiple subscriber lists, and be able to manage that between different administrators.
Thanks, Jared.
Mhm.
Did that answer your question, Deidre, or do you have any further questions?
No, I think
on
that's
that?
absolutely wonderful. And I think that, like, probably I went through the training earlier, but I think I just need to go through the guide again, just to make sure that I can wake up all of those brain cells again.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
A lot there.
That is very true. So Allison had posted a question. She said that she feels like she's underusing govDelivery, and she wanted to know, they're busy and would just like to know the top 3 things that we should do with govDelivery with limited time.
Follow-up question. She said, would they need to get out email blast bulletins? How often are they sending, like on average?
Allison?
Like daily or weekly or monthly?
3 bulletins a week, it looks like.
Okay. So that's a pretty heavy, all external. You poor person. That's a lot for, I'll just share with you guys. You know, they don't always have a dedicated comms person, but they're doing 3 bulletins a week to external subscribers. Wow. Okay. Tip that to you. Let me soak that in.
She just made me feel like a slacker.
Templates is, I'm shooting off the hip, so I don't mean to solution on a call, but I would say templates would be your best friend, so that you can grab and go the aesthetic that's consistent, that's branded every time, and then you're just dropping in the content. Jared, it looked like you might have something here.
So there is something, it does take some technical resources. So I do want to, like, you know, kind of caveat that. We do have a bulletin API. And basically it's a link between your internal systems where it can send out automatic bulletins for you. There is some developer work on that. I do want to be honest, but it can be if you're sending out a lot of emails, or if you have a lot of changeover with subscribers, where you have subscribers going in and out. We do have APIs that work with the platform as well. So anything you can do to automate. One of the features that we also have available, and it depends on the communications blasts that you're doing, but if you have a page watch, we have a page watch feature. So if you're using anything, if you have kind of like a web page, that has like an update, anytime it automatically updates your web page, it'll automatically send out a bulletin to your audience, basically saying, check out this web page, it's been updated. So that's an automated feature where you don't have to worry about too much going out where you have to like build these bulletins, these 3 bulletins a week, without a specific comms person dedicated to the topic. So those are a couple of the things I could think of, just like automation off the top. Erica's suggestion of having templates created is a big thing. Let's see if there's anything else
There's
off the top.
also you can't ignore that subscriber management. That's got to be in the top 3 for me, I think.
Yeah.
My professional opinion, I would also build in a 3rd bullet point for managing your audience, just because you do have external subscribers. So all 3 of those bulletins would be something that, or all 3 of those points, sorry, is something that we would suggest. So templates, definitely get some templates so you can jump and run with those. Look for automation opportunities, and that support slide. You have a couple of outlets that you can reach out to figure out your options there, specific to what you need. And then building in a little bit of time for subscriber management, at least monthly or quarterly.
Yeah, thinking about subscriber management, there's going to be a few different sources that you get subscribers. It's going to be upload, so you're managing it yourself. You're managing that list, and you're getting the specific Excel file sheet and you're uploading it. So you want to check, just make sure it's up to date. If you are, like you said, you mentioned all external subscribers. So you're capturing subscribers. Thinking about where you want to place sign-up forms. I believe it was mentioned earlier in the training, the quick subscribe pages, which have a hierarchy, which people can easily select which topics they want to sign up for. We also have something called topic snippets. It's a snippet code, and I'm sure this is all in the future, but basically it's a URL that can sign up specifically for your topic. That's it. So it's a great way to put something on your website. It's a URL that's, let's say you have a newsletter topic, and you have a URL specifically to sign up for that newsletter topic. You can take that URL and you could put it on your website. You could put it on social media. You can send it out like any other URL or hyperlink. It's a great way to kind of manage your external subscribers and where they can sign up. Yeah.
Thanks, Erica and Jared. I don't see any other questions in chat. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments they'd like to share?
And Tammy, can you show those upcoming trainings again one last time?
Sure. There you go.
Creating, managing, and optimizing bulletins, reporting and actionable insights, email and SMS writing best practices. So just take a gander at that list. If you or somebody on your comms team could leverage those, definitely let's make sure we get you signed up for those. Ooh, great question. How do we sign up for those trainings? Janice, do you want to take that one?
So we'll just be sending out an email, one email 2 weeks prior to the event. And you can just like mark it in your own calendar. Once you receive that email, and just make a note of it. That's the best way to like sign up, just to
If they want to add an email recipient to our outreach list for the trainings, what would be the best way for them to get that to us?
That's a good question, Erica. I guess, I mean, you could just like send it over, like if they're not a group or topic administrator, I guess, because that's how we've been refreshing our subscriber list to send out to anyone who's become a new govDelivery administrator. So it might be best to, I don't know, send it to maybe, I was gonna say Mike or Liz, or it could be one of us. Whatever anyone thinks is the best solution to learn more about govDelivery.
Okay, so just to recap, anybody that has any type of admin assignment, we'll receive an email before the trainings, reminding you just take a minute now to block that time off in your calendar. Don't wait for the email. If there is an emergency where you want to add somebody else to the list or somebody who's not an admin, but maybe would benefit from creating content or learning how to write emails and texts, I would say email us. I'm going to offer up Jared right now to field those and he can send them over to our team. We'll collab on it. Oh, Liz Brooks sent an email to webteam@dc.gov. She'll make sure that you're on the list and receiving the reminders. Thanks, Liz.
Perfect. Thanks, Liz, for adding that. And thanks, everybody. If there are no more questions, that's our session for the day. One last chance. Any more questions? Dun, 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 dun. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. It was great having you at the training, and we truly hope that we will see you at the July 8th training. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.